Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Reallaws. We are discussing today from 61 to 125. You can also download the PDFs of these questions from my description box. Let's start the questions.
Question 61. What is the number of judges including the Chief Justice in the Supreme Court of India as provided in the Constitution of India? Option C, 31. Question 62. Presumption under Section 112 of Evidence Act is raised. Option C is right. Both A and B means when a child is born during the continuance of valid marriage, when a child is born within 280 days of the dissolution of marriage and the mother is remaining unmarried. Question 63. Secondary evidence of document means both A and B means copy of that document, oral account of the content of the documents. Question 64. Muslim marriage is a, option A is right, is a contract. Question 65. The Hindu Marriage Act 1955 extend to, option D is right. That means the whole of India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir, Buddhist and Jains, those who are not Muslim, Christian, Parsi or Jews by religion. Question 66. Under the Hindu law, the ground for divorce is all of the above. Means D is option. Insanity, cruelty, adultery. Question 67. Who is the Union Law Minister of India? उस time 2010 की बात है ये. Option C is right. Veerappa Moily. Question 68. The Supreme Court in significant judgment held that the Guru Granth Sahib is, option A is right, a juristic person. Question 69. Which of the following soccer player is associated with the term hand of God? Option B is right, Maradona. Question 70. The judges of the Supreme Court take an oath conducted by, option C is right, president or some person appointed by him. Question 71. What is the minimum age required for voting in India? Option B is right, 18 years. Question 72. Sarkaria Commission was set up to, option C is right, review the central state relations. Question 73. Standard of proof in, option B is right, criminal cases is much more higher than in civil cases. Question 74. The doctrine of estoppel is, option C is right, the rule of evidence. Question 75. To an answer to a court question, the adverse party, option B is right, has a right to cross-examine only with the permission of the court. Question 76. A firm can be held liable for the wrongful act of the partner where the act has been rectified by the partners, provided, option D is right, both A and B, the act could be legally done with the authority of all the partners. The partners rectify the act with the full knowledge of the fact. Question 77. A partner can retire by notice of his intention to retire, where option A is right, the partnership is at will. Question 78. A partner has no implied authority, option A is right, to enter into the partnership with the other persons in another business. Question 79. A partnership firm is required to be registered under option C, the Indian Partnership Act 1932. Question 80. An agreement in restraint of trade in a partnership under section 11 of Indian Partnership Act is, option A is valid. Question 81. In a partnership at will, option C is right, either A or B, a partner of a firm can retire from the firm at any time by giving a notice to his intention to retire to his co-partners. A partner of a firm can be dissolved the firm at any time by giving a notice to the intention of to dissolve the firm to his co-partners. Question 82. X on receiving a grave and sudden provocation from Z intentionally causes the death of Y. Who is Z's brother? Option A is right, it's murder. Question 83. Which one of the following is sufficient to prove the offence of sedition? Option D is right, exciting the disaffection towards the government. Question 84. A revenue officer is entrusted with the public money and is directed by the law to pay into a treasury all the public money which he holds. He, instead of paying the same into the treasury, dishonestly misappropriates the same, buying a sofa set for his personal use. What offence A has committed? Option A, criminal breach of trust. Question 85. When a criminal act is done by a several persons in furtherance of common intention of all, each of such person is liable. Option B is right, as of if whole act is done by him alone. Question 86. Which one of the following correctly define the term unlawful assembly? Option B is right, an assembly of 5 or more persons armed with the lethal weapons. Question 87. Inducing a person with the dishonest intention to be the part of his property by putting him in a fear of physical injury amounts to an offence. Option B is right, extortion. Question 88. Which one of the following statements is correct? Option A is right. In conspiracy, there is no distinction between the principal and accessory. Question 89. A, with the intention to kill her husband, purchased some poisonous powder from a chemist who by mistake dispensed plain sugar instead. She put the powder in a cup of tea and served it to her husband, who drank it but did not die. Which one of the following statement is correct as far as the charge of attempt to murder is concerned? Option B is right. She is liable because her intention is to kill her husband is clear from the totality of acts. Question 90. The defendant promises to marry a plaintiff on the death of his father. During the lifetime of the father, the defendant marries another woman. The plaintiff in this case, option A is right, has the option of bringing an action for the damages immediately, as the case may be. She wait till the death of her father. Question 91. An agreement which is enforceable by law at the option of the one or more of the parties thereto, but not at the option of the other, is a, option C is right, it's a voidable contract. Question 92. The correct sequence in the formation of the contract is, इसका option D is right है, because it says offer, acceptance, consideration and agreements. Question 93. Which one of the following is a contingent contract? Option A is right. A insures his factory against damage or destruction by fire. Question 94. Which one of the following contracts is void? Option A is right. A and B contracts to marry each other. Before time fixed for the marriage, A goes mad. Question 95. An offer is, its answer is D, a willingness to do or abstain from doing something. Question 96. The inadequacy of the consideration will be taken into account by the court of law. Option C is right. When the fraud, coercion, undue influence in the formation of the contract is pleaded. Question 97. A deed of adoption requires, option C is right, no registration. Question 98. A document relating to land registered at a place where no party to the property is situated, a registration is, option D is right, either B or C. Means B said void only if the party in collusion with each other committed fraud on the registration authority, voidable and may be set aside within the period of limitation. Question 99. Acknowledgement made by a person other than a person under the liability is good if, option B is right, the person making it is an agent of the person under the liability. Limitation for filing an appeal commences from, option A is right, the date of the judgment, from the date of the judgment. Question 101. The period of limitation for preferring an appeal to the High Court from an order of sentence other than the sentence of death is, option C is right, it's 60 days. Question 102. Section 511 IPC is not related to the offence of which the punishment is, option A is right, it's death sentence. Question 103. Oral evidence under section 60 of Evidence Act may be, option A direct only. Question 104. Give the correct response. Option A is right. All the murders are culpable homicide but not vice versa. Question 105. An adoption of a boy whose mother, the adoptive father, could not have legally married is not recognized by law but is still considered valid? Option A is right, because of the judicial pronouncements. Question 106. Under the section 13B of East Punjab Urban Rent Restriction Act 1949, the tenant is required to seek the leave to defend within 15 days of the service of notice upon him. He applies for the defend after 20 days. Option C is right, time cannot be extended at all. Question 107. Statutory tenant is a person who, option C is right, is a legal representative who occupy the premises after the death of the original tenant. Question 108. On which of the following grounds a tenant cannot be evicted? Option D is right, inadequate rent. Question 109. In a simple mortgage, the possession of the mortgaged property, option C is right, remains with the mortgager. Question 110. In an agreement for the transfer of property, option A is right, the transfer is recognized when the agreement is partly performed. Question 111. A lease of an immovable property can be, option D is right, all of the above, as for a limited period, in a perpetuity, can be express or implied. Question 112. A valid lease can be determined by a flux of time, forfeiture on the expiry of the notice period for the determination of such lease. Option D, all of the above. Answer is option D. Question 113. Pingalwada Trust was founded by, option C is right, Bhagat Puran Singh. Question 114. City of Amritsar was founded by, option A is right, Guru Ramdas ji. Question 115. Where was the Anglo-Sikh treaty signed between the Maharaja Ranjit Singh and the Britishers? Option C, Roped. Question 116. A Muslim woman entitled to obtain a decree for the dissolution of her marriage on the ground that, option C is right, the husband was impotent at the time of the marriage and continued to be so. Question 117. Under the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Divorce Act, the option to be governed by the provision of section 125 CRPC may be given by the parties. Option C is right, either jointly or separately. Question 118. For the defense of intoxication to escape the criminal liability, the intoxication can be, option B is right, administered against his will or knowledge. Question 119. For the application of section 34 IPC, there must be at least, option A is right, 2 persons. Question 120. A retracted confession, option C is right, cannot be made solely the base of the conviction unless the same is collaborated. Question 121. In which of the following the right of the private defense does not extend to the cause death of the offender? Option C is right, causing miscarriage. Question 122. A confession to be inadmissible under section 25 of Evidence Act. Option C is right, may relates to some crime or any other crime. Question 123. What is the maximum gap between the 2 sessions of Parliament? Option C is right, 6 months. Question 124. Which of the following writs literally means to have the body? Option A is right, habeas corpus. Question 125. Which of the following union territories has a legislature? Option C is right, Pondicherry.